Hello everyone, welcome to Calling Glass, welcome to the pod, welcome to the club. My name is Alvaro, as always, and today in the podcast I'm giving the playoffs awards. Let's see it. So today, welcome back everyone. I will give the same way that during the regular season we had the awards of like All NBA, best, most improved, best defensive player, etc. I'm gonna do the same, but for this playoffs 2025. And I'm gonna start by talking about the All NBA teams, which I'm gonna do actually the West All NBA team and the East All NBA team. So 5 men from the West, 5 men from the East. And yeah, that's a bit that's the goal of this podcast. And I'm gonna start right away with the West. And I'm gonna do like the NBA does, like the All NBA does, which is there is no positions anymore. It's positionless, so I can have any 5 men that I want. But actually, the West is actually pretty balanced, and it's gonna be a point guard, a shooting guard, a forward, a small forward, and a center. But just randomly. So, at the one in the West, I have no other than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in these playoffs has averaged 29.9 points, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 51% from 2 and 28% from 3. That's Shai, of course, Finals MVP. There is not much to comment about Shai. Well, I want to comment that I started already, but I think it matters a lot. I'm not taking into consideration, let's say, players that only played one round. So it matters a lot how much you advance with your team. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I have Shai in the 1. In the 2, I have Mr. Anthony Edwards. I think he was great again in the playoff. Reached the conference finals for the second year in a row. Anthony Edwards averaged this playoff 25 points, 5.5 assists, 8 rebounds, shooting 35% from 3, 53% from 2. That's it, Anthony Edwards. At number 3, I have a player, let's say the Robin of the Batman. I'm talking the Batman is Shai, Robin is Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams from OKC, only 23 years of age. His playoffs have gone from, like, they started a bit slower and he has ramped up at the end with the 40-point performance in the finals. Great season by J-Dub. So he scored 21.5 points per game, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting 30% from 3 and 51% from 2. At the 4, here I have a player that I'm surprised that I'm putting there, that I'm surprised I have so high, and that is a player that I don't usually like, but I have to say that his playing has surprised me for the good. I'm talking about Julius Randle from the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. He reached the conference finals. It is true that against OKC in the conference final he didn't perform that well, but in the first round against the Lakers and in the second round against the Warriors, he was super dominant. He was playing using his strength and athleticism against teams that didn't have a match for him. I think he was very good. I think we saw a different Julius Randle that we have seen in the past in Knicks. I felt like he was smarter with the ball, making wiser decisions, forcing less. And I feel like he was more comfortable in this role and a bit like knowing when to attack and when to give the ball to Anthony Edwards. And he was very well. He was very good. Against OKC, he was a bit lost, it's true. He did not manage to attack that well. But still, 2 very good rounds are enough to put him in the All West playoff team. And the last spot goes to, so for now I have 2 OKC, 2 Minnesota, which makes sense because they both reached the conference finals, and now have players that did not reach the conference finals. But that, in my opinion, he's still the best player in the world, which is Nikola Jokic. Jokic averaged 26 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, 13 rebounds per game, shooting 38% from 3, 53% from 2. So yeah, not much to say about Jokic, but I think he's still, or he is, in my best 5-man out of the West. I didn't say the stats of Julius Randle. 22 points per game, 5 assists, surprising, and 6 rebounds. Shooting 38.5 from 3, surprising, 56% from 2. So yeah, that's my lineup. Shea, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Williams, Julius Randle, Jokic. And I want to say some special mentions to Chet Holmgren, which I think he was the third head of this third-headed dragon. I think he was great. I think he was the paint protector of that team. 9 rebounds from him, 15 points, 2 blocks per game, very well. And I want to also special mention to Aaron Gordon from the Denver Nuggets. I thought he was especially good these playoffs. He went up and above his usual level. His points were 16 points per game, almost 8 rebounds per game, 3 assists, and he shot 38% from 3, shooting 4 threes per game. I thought he was especially accurate from 3, actually, for him, plus his defense, plus his rebounds, plus his grit. So I think he was very good. So I wanted to mention him. I move on to the East. And in the East, I have, in the West, I said that I have like a more like a balanced lineup. In the East, it's not completely balanced at all. So there is no 1, 2, 3. I will make a lineup more or less, but it's not a lineup. So at the 1, I have no other than Mr. Tyrese Haliburton, Mr. Clutch, let's say. He was amazing this playoff. His points and his stats don't make justice for what he did for his team, for Indiana Pacers. I think being the leader and making the Indiana play with such a good rhythm is thanks to him. And yes, his stats are not that amazing, but when you watch the Pacers play, you need to understand that. Well, I see that is thanks to Haliburton that they play that well. So yeah, Haliburton, 17 points per game, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 59% from 2, 34% from 3. Yeah. Haliburton was amazing. We all saw it. To me, he's a star. It doesn't matter if he scores less than 20 points. To me, doing what he did in the biggest stage, bringing his team, making his team play the way they play, I think, to me, he's a star. And there are things that are not in the stats that you cannot see, but I think the intangibles are there. At the 2, I'm going to place a small guard also, who went to the conference finals and was a super clutch. I'm talking about Jalen Brunson. Another player that I don't like specifically, but that I need to give him his flowers. He was amazing. He was like unstoppable. To me, it's incredible that a guy like that is unstoppable. He's like, 6'1", and nobody can stop him with his pivots, his bumps, his way of tricking defenses, of getting fouls. It's amazing. And then his shot-making ability. From 3, from 2, it was incredible. Jalen Brunson, stats, 29.4 points per game, 7 assists, and he was shooting 36% from 3, 51% from 2. But all this taking into consideration that he was shooting everything for the Knicks. He was like I said, mentioned in a podcast before, he was the king or the god, the sun god of the Knicks, with this way of playing that Thibodeau likes, which is give the ball to Brunson and get away. So yeah, it's impressive that even though he had that load, and even though the defenses knew that it was him who was going to take the shot, he was able to do it, and he was still able to score with good efficiency. He was shooting actually 14 shots from the 2, which is the highest out of the players that I have here. Probably the highest of all the from 2. No, Shea shot more, but yeah. But after Shea, he's the highest in terms of 2-point attempts of these playoffs. Then at the 3, I'm gonna play a guard again, and it's a player whose team actually surprised a lot during the season. They made a great season, but in the playoffs they disappointed maybe a bit. It's true that they had injuries. He himself was a bit injured, and he played through that, and he played amazing, and he carried his team. I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell averaged 29.6 points per game, 4 assists, and he was shooting 9 3-pointers per game at a 33% rate. Like I said, great season from Cleveland, not that good of an ending. I think they got a bit unlucky with the injuries, I have to say. And they also faced the Indiana Pacers, unstoppable Indiana Pacers. But I feel like Donovan Mitchell, if you need to save someone from Cleveland, it was him. He was incredible. He was rowing in the right direction. He was doing everything he could for his team, and at times also looking unstoppable. And yeah, he deserves the position in the All-East team. At the 4 position, I have a player that is going to surprise, which is not a 4, it's another guard. A guard that plays bigger than he is. A guard that I always feel like is underrated. A guard that does all the dirty work. He's good in defense. He's smart. He's good shooter. He's like a shooter right now. Shooter, 3-point shooter. But he does a bit of everything. Everything he does good. He just adds to the team. And I'm talking about a player who did not reach the conference finals. He, let's say, died in the conference semifinals of the East against the Knicks of Branson. I'm talking, this is my surprise, about Derrick White. Derrick White's numbers are 18.8 points, so 19 points, only 1 turnover, 3.5 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot 9.5 threes per game at a 38.5% rate. And from 2, he shot at 65%. Incredible shooting performance for him. An incredible intangibles that are not here. An incredible defense, rebounds, clutch threes. Also, again, 19 points is a lot. I felt like, especially since Tatum got injured, he was key for the Celtics. And I feel like, well, it's true that Tatum got injured late, but I mean, like, I thought he was very consistent. It's true that I have given this to Jaylen Brown, and it's true that the bigger load in offense, it's carried by Jaylen Brown, which should matter. But I really feel like Derrick White was, I could say that he was the better player from these Celtics in these playoffs. And yeah, I'm going to give it to him, the position in the All-5, All-East, let's say. And the last position, the center position, which is not center, I'm going to give it to another Indiana Pacer player, Pascal Siakam, which could arguably, I don't know how to say that. I don't know. Which could maybe have, or could be for some people, he's the better player from the Indiana Pacers. To me, he's not, but he's very close. Siakam was amazing. 20 points and a half, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, and he shot 43% from 3, shooting almost 4 threes per game. He was very good. He was the best, let's say, one-on-one player from Indiana. He runs the court as well. He had the poster on the finals against Jalen Williams. Really, really, really good. He was the conference finals MVP. And yeah, not much else to say. I think he deserves to be in the top 5 from the East. Now, I want to make some special mentions. Maybe I should have said this at the beginning, but I want to mention 2 players from the Knicks. OG Anunoby, which in my opinion, he was amazing. In my opinion, he was the second best Knicks player after Branson. 16 points, 2 steals per game, clutch shots, tough shot making also. Even though he doesn't look that elegant when shooting, he makes them and he makes them tough. This guy doesn't get tired. He doesn't stop hustling. Pure defense, strong, gritty, amazing. And then the other player I want to mention, also a Knick player, is Karl Anthony Towns. I thought he was good. It's true. Why do I say that OG for me is the second best player? Because Cat has some, let's say, liabilities that make him a bit not that consistent, and also that make him, even there are some games that Thibodeau kept him in the bench in the last minutes because of his defense. But also he's like a double-edged sword. He gives you a lot in offense. He hurts you in defense sometimes. So you need to balance it out. But there were some games that it was thanks to him that the Knicks won. And I thought he was pretty good, actually. So yeah, 21 points, 12 rebounds for Karl Anthony Towns. Now I move on to the sixth man of the playoffs, and I have many contenders here. I'm gonna do like 3, 2, and 1. So the third, the second, the best sixth man in my opinion. But I want to mention some players before that. So players that I want to mention: Cason Wallace, incredible defender, handsy, quick, fast, athletic, and comfortable. So yeah, Cason Wallace. I want to mention as well a Nas Reed from the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think he could start in any other team. But Minnesota has 2 other good bigs. But yeah, great player as well. I want to mention from the Celtics, Luke Cornett. I thought with Porzingis ill and with all the difficulties that the Celtics were having, with Tatum going down, I thought he was pretty good. I thought he kept the spirits up for Boston. The game 5 against the Knicks, it was his game, the Cornett game, where he got so many blocks and the dunks and the saves, rebounds. So I want to give him some. I want to mention him. Who else I want to mention? Yes, Nicolas Batum from the Clippers. Only 1 round, but I want to mention him. I thought he was very good. I think he was a fantastic defender. Many games the Clippers ended up with him because he was actually defending. He was the pure 3-and-D, making very tough and not missing threes. Plus in defense, being able to guard anyone from the guard to the center. He was in Jokic at times, and he did an amazing job. Underrated, lost in many teams, has found a role in the Clippers, and he was very good. Batum. Who else I want to mention? Also only 1 round, but he surprised me positively, is Dennis Schroeder from the Detroit Pistons. I thought he was great. 12.5 points for him. Finishing games as well. Great defense, which is surprising, against Brunson. He was very active. Very solid, making tough shots. I think he made some last-minute shots also against the Knicks to win some games. So yeah, I was very positive surprised with Schroeder. I thought he played very well. I thought it would be great if the Detroit could keep him for the next season. I think he's a great backup point guard for Cade, or actually he can play alongside him because he's also shooting well from 3. And yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. So at number 3, I have of the 6-man award. At number 3, I have Obi Toppin. I thought Obi Toppin was incredible. The Knicks didn't want him. They traded him, and he found a role that he enjoys and that he fits perfectly in Indiana from the bench, giving this energy, his jumping ability, his rebounds. He's not the best defender, but he's tall and big, and he can make plays. He can shoot threes also. He was not missing that many threes. It was incredible. His stats from 3 don't show that much the reality, but I feel like he was not missing threes. But he did. He did miss because he was shooting at 32% from 3. But in my opinion, what I saw was like he couldn't miss the important threes. He scored 9 points, but yeah, also big plays in the stretch at some games, like rebounds, some dunks. I thought he was instrumental for the Indiana Pacers. He actually ended up playing in the last minutes of many games for Indiana. So he's at number 3. And number 2, it's another Indiana player, is TJ McConnell. TJ was, everyone loves TJ, probably. I talked about him in the last podcast. He's a player that made a living or made a career in the NBA, a 10-year career in the NBA via grit and pressure in the full court. He scored in these playoffs 9.5 points, 4 assists in 17.5 minutes. He carried Indiana when Haliburton went down and when Haliburton was in the bench. And I think he played great. He was unstoppable at some points. I don't know how he does it because he's small. He doesn't shoot threes. He's not athletic, but he's able to wiggle around the defenses, wiggle around the best defense in the league, the OKC, and he was able to then raise up for a not even a mid-range. It was like a short range and knock it down, and it was impressive to see. But the sixth man of these playoffs, to me, it goes to Mr. Alex Caruso. Caruso was impressive. I mean, again, it's just because he comes from the bench, but he's an amazing player that is for sure. He could be in many teams the top 3 player. But in OKC, he comes from the bench. His stats don't make justice to him, but yeah, 9 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, shooting 41% from 3, shooting 4 attempts, which is pretty good. And yeah, Alex Caruso, great in defense. I will talk. Well, yeah, I don't want to mention more about him now, but yeah, I might mention him again later. Also, I didn't mention Benedict Mathurin, who also was pretty good, 6-man, but a bit more inconsistent. Sometimes very good, sometimes very bad. But okay. Next award, coach of the playoffs. I'm gonna go quick here. I want to mention Chris Finch from Minnesota. Maybe he was not like the best in adjusting in the playoffs, but he created a team with players that I don't think they are easy. I don't think Anthony was an easy player. He has a lot of character, and his own ways of, not character in a bad way, but like he seems like a young player that is very successful and that. But he seems to like the coach and like what Minnesota is doing, so that's good. I think he has redirected Julius Randle very well. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are a team that has done twice in a row conference finals, and that's for a reason. I think he's doing a good job, Finch. It's true that I don't think against Oklahoma he did a good job. I don't think he had this. He didn't make the right. He didn't. He was not able to compete against Oklahoma, and I think that's a bit of failure. But yeah, still very good job for Chris Finch. But that's only a mention. Number 3, I have Adelman, the son of Rick Adelman Jr. For the Denver Nuggets. I thought he was left in a very tough position, taking command of the team when there were like 4 regular season games left. And he was able to still deal with the team. The team didn't crumble under pressure, which is key, which is important. I thought it would, without a coach, but it didn't. And yeah, I want to give him props to that. In the second position, I have Mr. Daigneault, the coach of the OKC Thunder. I thought maybe, again, he made some adjustments in the playoffs that were very important, like Caruso and Jokic. But as well, I think the team that he has built, it's very impressive. I think his development of players and his trust in young players is great. The identity that he has installed in this team is great. This kind of tough defensive-minded team. That's amazing. I feel like all the players buy in. Yeah, and I want to give him his props for doing that. But at number 1, I have the other coach that went to the NBA Finals. It's Rick Carlisle. Similar to Daigneault, I think he has created an identity. I think he has made players buy in. Why I value it more than Daigneault? I think his talent, the pool of talent that he has is less than Daigneault. And he has achieved that his team plays a beautiful basketball. One of the most beautiful basketballs that I have seen in the last years. at least in offense. Indiana was playing great. I think he had a vision of Haliburton, and he has made him a reality. And I think he has gotten a lot from players that are not, let's say, super talented, but he has put them in the right spots, and they also buy in, and they like their roles. So yeah, I want to give this award to Rick Carlisle. Also, I think he made great adjustments during the playoffs. Next award, quick one. I'm not going to mention executive of the playoffs. It's not for the playoffs, but Sam Presti, for sure. Yeah. Now, MVP. Who is the MVP of these playoffs? Well, I'm gonna go quick. I have already mentioned these players because they were, of course, in the West and the East teams. At number 3, I have Jalen Brunson. Not much to mention here. Of course, amazing, blah blah, incredible. I mentioned it before. Number 2, I have Haliburton, and number 1, I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Each 3 of these players led their team in box plus minus. So yeah. Also in PER, so player efficiency rating, and also in highest usage for their team. Except, I want to mention Indiana Pacers, because Indiana Pacers actually, for pair and for usage, so only for usage, it was actually Siakam just a bit higher than Haliburton. But yeah. Yeah, so that's it. MVP, of course, Shai, same as MVP of the finals. Now I move on to the next award, which is Defensive Player of these playoffs. I like this one. There is many players that I want to mention here. So special mentions. Chet Holmgren, anchoring the defense of OKC. 2 blocks per game. He's the player with the most, 2 blocks per game. Not the most blocks, because Miles Turner was above him, but yeah. Great Chet, a lot of mobility also for a big guy. I want to also mention Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota. Tarantula. He's like the opposite of Kevin Durant. I want to mention as well Mikal Bridges. Great, fantastic job for him. OG Anunoby. Also amazing. I want to mention also Aaron Naismith, which his job in Jalen Brunson was great. Apart from making threes and making it rain, he also is a great defender. Of course, Cason Wallace as well. Very dangerous to dribble in front of him. But now I go into the top 3. In the top 3, I have a 3. A player that I really like. That I think he's. I don't know if he's underrated, but I really like him, and his conditions are not good, but he makes the best out of what he has. And I'm talking about Andrew Nem. He's not that quick, he's not tall, he doesn't have long arms, but he's very smart. His positioning is great. He knows how to play with contact. He knows where to use his hand. He's great at sliding, at passing through screens. His job in Shai is insane. It is true that against Jalen Brunson, it was better Naismith, but against Shai, Nembhard was better, maybe because of the Brunson is a bit bulkier and his contacts are a bit stronger. So maybe you need Naismith, which is a bit heavier. Against Shai, who's a bit more like agile and it's a bit like more technical. I think Nembhard was doing a great job. I remember the stop that he got in game 1 in the finals when they were down by 1 and OKC had the ball and Shai attacked 1-1. He did his typical bump spin. I don't know what he did. Nembhard stayed in front. Then he put his arms down. He almost steals him from Shai. Shai stepped back and missed the shot. And then it came to Haliburton bucket. And I think Nembhard is the kind of defender that is not going to block you. He's not going to steal the ball from you. But it's going to make you lower your percentages, which is actually very important. And it's maybe not that visible, but I think it's true and I think it matters a lot. So he's at number 3 in my Defensive Player Award. At number 2, I have Torture Chamber Dort. This guy, it feels like he's like 6'7" while he's 6'2". He's so bulky, so strong, so quick. He's also making threes, which doesn't matter for this award, but he's incredible. He passed by the screens. He breaks the screens. It doesn't matter. And yeah, I don't want to mention much, but yeah, to me he's an incredible defender. But at number 1, again, I have to give another award to Alex Caruso. I think this guy is incredible, especially because of his defense of Jokic. That key change that they did in the last game of the conference semifinals when they put Caruso and Jokic. I thought he was great. I think Caruso is like the best of both worlds. He's pretty athletic, but he's not like the quickest or like the strongest, but he's pretty quick and pretty strong. His hands activity is great. He also has size, like 6'5". He's not like 6'2", like these guards. So he's a bit bigger. He's very dangerous in like the passing lanes. He's very smart. He reads very well the attacker. So yeah, really, really incredible job by Caruso, and I give him the defensive player of the playoffs. And I want to add that he has the highest defensive box plus minus of these teams, of these playoffs, let's say. For teams that played at least, from the second round. I didn't check more. But yeah, highest defensive box plus minus for Caruso. Now, let's do the rookie award, which there were not many rookies in these playoffs that had an impact. I'm going to say number 3, I have Terrence Shannon from Minnesota. He played only 6 minutes per game, but against OKC he had some success, some baskets. Number 2, I have Saki D, who only played in the first round, but he was actually probably the most. He could be the better player, but he only played 4 games, so that's why I cannot put him at 1. 6 points, 2.5 blocks, 27 minutes per game. Pretty good. And then at number 1, I have a surprising player, and it's Quinten Post from Golden State Warriors. Why? Well, he played 12 minutes per game. He played 12 games, so, second round. 4 points, not bad. And also, I think he actually he had a role, let's say, in the Warriors. He had an important role. He was this 5-man shooter, like the open center, because they had Draymond and Jimmy Butler who cannot shoot, so they needed someone to open the court, and he was doing that role. So he had, that's why I put him at 1, because he actually had a job to do, and he somewhat did it. And yeah, that's why he deserves this award. There was not much competition, but that's it. Now, I want to give the last award that I have is Clutch Player of these playoffs. Now I have here 3 candidates, and 3, I'm going quick. 3, I have Aaron Gordon, Chubas Veritas, like the dunk, the 3-pointer against OKC, the dunk against Clippers. Then he also had some clutch shots in other rounds. I thought he was shooting out of his mind in these playoffs. Amazing. And number 2, I have Jalen Brunson, which in any other playoffs, he will have been the clutch player of the playoffs, but not in these ones, because in this one we have Mr. Haliburton, which did something that has never been done, which is like a game-winning on game-tying basket in the last second of every series. He did it against the Milwaukee Bucks, he did it against Cleveland, he did it against the Knicks, and he did it against OKC. And the Knicks one, it was incredible also because of the aesthetics, let's say. Like the choking, like it did, and the shot that bounced in the rim, went up and went down, is just something that stays in your mind forever, and we'll remember that years and years. So yeah, clutch play of the playoffs for Haliburton. And there is one more award that I'm not going to give because I thought I could do an analysis about this and talk about it in another podcast, and it is the most improved player. But I thought I could look at players and compare them regular season with their playoff performance. So I could see who is the player who has increased his performance the most from regular season to playoffs. I don't know if I will find something, but I think this could be interesting. Also, this is kind of hard to do, so I need to do some research. But yeah, maybe I do it in another podcast. I know now I move to another segment, which I call I Know What You Did. And I know what you did, which I go back around the same times, so around the end of June. but back to some other years. And what I want to talk about this time is because we are now in a moment of a lot of trades, like the Kevin Durant to the Rockets trade. But 10 years ago, at the end of June, there was also a trade to the Rockets that changed, let's say, that team and that franchise. And it's that, so we're going back to the 29th of June of 2004, when Tracy McGrady went to the Houston Rockets. So here's the context. T-Mac had just won back-to-back scoring titles in 2003 and 2004 with Orlando Magic. But in the last season, they just finished with a record of 21 and 61, last in the NBA. So frustrated, T-Mac wanted to get out, and he requested a trade. And Orlando, they were scared to lose him for nothing, so they trade him to the Rockets. And this is the trade that happened. T-Mac, who was 24 at the time, arrived to Houston alongside Juwan Howard, Tyronn Lue, and Rhys Gaines. And Orlando got in exchange Steve Francis, which was recent All-Star and the face of the Rockets, Coutinho Mobley, and Kelvin Cato. What happened after that? Well, the next season, T-Mac teamed up with Yao Ming. And in their first season together, they went 51 and 31. McGrady made 3 All-Star appearances in Houston, but then the injuries started to happen. And as good as they were, T-Mac and Yao, this duo never made it out of the first round of the playoffs. So it's a story that never quite made it up to the hype that they had. And yeah, that is a big what if in the NBA history. So that's all. That's I know what you did in the summer in June of 2004. And now I move on to the trivia segment. In this segment, I'm going to try to guess or answer a question from an AI. I did it in the podcast in Spanish, the top 5 points in the 2015 playoffs, so 10 years ago. It was very tough. But now I'm going to move on. I didn't check this, but I'm going to move on to top 5 points per game in the 2015 season, regular season, no playoffs. So who were the top 5 scorers per game in the 2015 season? I'm trying to guess the top 5, and I'm going to give myself 8 tries. So I'm going to say them in order, I'm going to count them, and then I will check and see if I get it right or not. And my first guess, 2015, when the Warriors won. I'm going to go with LeBron James. I think he should be in the top 5. James Harden. He might be there as well. I'm thinking who else. Clippers was nice, so maybe Blake Griffin. 2015. Kevin Durant. Kobe not anymore, I think. Chris Paul, I don't think he scored that much. 2 teams in the West. So Memphis, no. Nowitzki, I don't think anymore. I don't think Curry scored. He scored, but I don't think that much. I guess I would say Curry. So I have LeBron, Durant, Harden, Blake Griffin, Curry. I'm going to say Dwayne Wade. From the East, who could be? DeMar DeRozan. One more. I'm missing someone. I don't know. So for example, the following season, it was also Warriors, I guess. I'm going to say Russell Westbrook as well. Those 8. I will check now. I missed again. Almost. Okay, so number 1 in that season, it was Russell Westbrook, 28.1. Number 2 is James Harden with 27 points. Number 3 is LeBron James, 25 points. Number 4, I didn't say it, is the Brow, Anthony Davis. Number 5, I didn't say it either, is DeMarcus Cousins, 6 Curry, 7 Aldrich, which I thought about. 8 Griffin. 11 is Wade. But okay, yes. But also, this is interesting because I don't know how should I count this. They also counted out here in Basketball Reference the players that played less than 65 games, or actually less than, I don't know how many games, but to qualify for the points per game. Because if I look at not qualified, for example, Kevin Durant, he only played 27 games that season, but he's third, and I mentioned him. I still have missed because still Anthony Davis is fifth, and I didn't say said Anthony Davis, so I still missed. Doesn't matter. But for the future, I would count if it's doesn't matter if it's 27 games. I think 27 is still, I don't care if he qualifies or not. It's points per game in that season. He played 27. I think 27 is, I don't care about that. But still, I missed this time. All right. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it. And I hope you're having a great summer. So that's all. See you. Bye-bye.